Welcome to the Strength for the Day podcast, which is a daily Bible study with Dennis Fountain. We hope this time together will be challenging, sharpening, uplifting, encouraging, and strengthening to your Christian walk. Thank you for joining us, and we pray you are helped through today's study. Hey, good morning, my friend, and welcome back to another episode of Strength for the Day as we are in a new study. And of course, I say new, but we're 8 days into this month already. And I think this is episode, this is episode number 6, I think. Yeah, episode number 6. And so in this study of the book of 1 Samuel, hope your weekend went well and your week is going well as we are midway through yet another week in the month of May 2024. I can't believe we're here already. I was just thinking about this the other day about how quickly, as we enter the month of May, how quickly the time is going by. I remember growing up, people say, just wait till you get older. Time flies by when you get older. And even those older than me now tell me the same thing. But I already look at it, it's just crazy. One month from today, this episode dropping, my son graduates high school, our oldest. And can't tell you, I'm already an emotional wreck about that. And I love it. I'm glad. I'm excited for him growing up. But I hate the changes of life and the phases that we have to go through. But anyway, well, enough about all that. Let's jump into our study today. We are in 1 Samuel chapter number 4 as we dive into this study. Remember, Samuel is going to be a prophet of God. We listened in yesterday as God spoke to him, in our last episode as the Lord challenged him. And of course, Samuel began to his own walk with the Lord and would be used of God. Remember, Eli is the high priest at this time. He is one that is going to be the priest of God's people, not the high priest, just the priest of God's people. He's going to be removed from office. The Lord gave that prophecy to Samuel. And so today, we're actually going to see that come to pass as Eli is going to pass off the scene. But we begin in 1 Samuel chapter number 4. We're going to read verse 1 down through verse number 11 just to get us started. The word of the Lord the word of Samuel came to all Israel. Now Israel went out to battle against the Philistines and encamped beside Ebenezer, and the Philistines encamped in Aphek. Then the Philistines put themselves in battle array against Israel. And when they had joined battle, Israel was defeated by the Philistines, who killed about 4,000 men and the army in the field. And when the people had come into the camp, the elders of Israel said, "Why has the Lord defeated us today before the Philistines? Let us bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord from Shiloh to us, that when it comes among us, it may save us from the hand of our enemies." So the people sent to Shiloh that they might bring from there the ark of the covenant of the Lord of hosts, who dwells between the cherubim. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant of God. And when the ark of the covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all Israel shouted so loudly that the earth shook. Now when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, "What does the sound of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews mean?" Then they understood that the ark of the Lord had come into the camp. So the Philistines, they were afraid, for they said, "God has come into the camp." And they said, "Woe to us, for such a thing has never happened before us," or never happened before. "Woe to us, who will deliver us from the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods who struck the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. Be strong and conduct yourselves like men, you Philistines, that you do not become servants of the Hebrews as they have been to you. Conduct yourselves like men and fight." So the Philistines fought, and Israel was defeated. And every man fled to his tent. There was a very great slaughter, and there fell of Israel 30,000 foot soldiers. Also the ark of God was captured, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, died. As this chapter opens up, we find the people of Israel going to war against the Philistines, and we find them being defeated. Of course, Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas die. We'll see in the next few verses that Eli hears about his sons dying, and he hears about the defeat, and he hears that the covenant, the Ark of the Covenant has been taken. And it says in verse number 16, "Then the man said to Eli, I am he that came from battle, and I fled today from the battle line. And he said, What happened to my son? So the messenger answered and said, Israel has fled before the Philistines, and there has been a great slaughter among the people. Also your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God has been captured. Then it happened, when he made mention of the ark of God, that Eli fell off the seat backwards by the side of the gate, and his neck broke, and he died. For the man was old and heavy, and he had judged Israel 40 years. Now his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was with child, due to be delivered. This is verse 19. And when she heard the news that the ark of God was captured, and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself and gave birth, for her labor pains came upon her. And about the time of her death, the woman who stood by her said to her, Do not fear, for you have borne a son. But she did not answer, nor did she regard it. Then she named the child Ichabod, saying, The glory has departed from Israel, because the ark of God has been captured, and because of her father-in-law and her husband. And she said, The glory has departed from Israel, for the ark of God has been captured. What a sad state, a sad place that the children of Israel are in at this time. Samuel is a prophet before them, but it appears as we enter into this chapter that while even though Samuel is a prophet, that the people are not really listening to him yet. They go to war against the Philistines. Eli dies. Hophni, Phinehas die. Phinehas' wife dies. I think it was Phinehas' wife. Maybe I read that wrong. Yeah, Phinehas' wife dies, and then she has a child, and they name this child Ichabod, meaning the glory of the Lord is departed. All of this has just taken place, but why? What is happening in this chapter? There's two things that I want to very quickly bring out. Then we'll bring an application for today, and then we'll be done. But I want you to notice the Israelites are defeated by the Philistines in the first verse. And in the second verse, they ask the question, why have we been defeated? And they decide, we're going to bring the Ark of the Covenant. Listen what they say. Let us bring the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord from Shiloh to us, that when it comes among us, it may save us from the hand of our enemies. Okay, that's the opinion of the Israelites. The Ark of the Covenant will save us. Notice the opinion of the Philistines. Verse 7, the Philistines were afraid, for they said, God has come into the camp. And they said, Woe to us, for such a thing has never happened before. Woe to us, who will deliver us from the hands of these mighty gods? These are the ones that struck Egypt with all the plagues in the wilderness. And then they kind of get this hoorah spirit, be strong and let's move forward. But I noticed two contrasting thoughts, okay? Israel looks to the Ark of the Covenant as a good luck charm. The people of God here, they are self-reliant, they are self-righteous, they're superstitious in this passage. They are looking and thinking, well, why did we lose? Oh, we lost because the Ark of the Covenant's not here. Let's get the Ark of the Covenant because then it will save us. Our faith is in this special trinket, and if we hold this, it's our good luck charm. Whereas the Philistines, they're the enemies of God. And yet they're like, that thing represents, that is not the secret. It represents the God they worship. The Philistines got it, but the people of Israel didn't. Isn't that interesting? And then you look and you find the priests, Hophni and Phinehas, you find them in 1 Samuel chapter number 4, not fulfilling their role. They're not leading the people. They're not encouraging the people. They're not helping the people. They were a disgrace to the people. And then eventually they're destroyed before God for their sins. But then here's what we find in the chapter. We find this idea that the people and the priests, all right, Eli, Hophni, Phinehas, I don't believe Eli's as guilty as Hophni and Phinehas are, of course, but Hophni and Phinehas and the people, what they had done is they had forgotten that God is a person, not a trinket. He is someone, not something. And then also, they forgot that God was all-powerful, not their own intellect. So here they are entering into a battle, and they're leaning on a little trinket. They're leaning on the Ark of the Covenant. Now, the Ark of the Covenant is very significant, and we're going to see that in the coming weeks, the coming couple of weeks as we go through the book of 1 Samuel, and then maybe even get into 2 Samuel later this year or next year. But when we see the Ark of the Covenant, the people of Israel are looking at it as a good luck charm. well, if I do this, if I have this Ark of the Covenant, then God will be pleased with me. And today, as I look at this, they were diminishing the power of God to a trinket in their life and saying, well, if we have this little trinket, I've got my little cup here. Right? I've got my cup. If I hold this just right, then God will be pleased with me. And they were looking to the trinket as their power source. Can I encourage you today? Your relationship with God and my relationship with God is not about a trinket that we carry. Well, if I don't do this, then God's not pleased with me. No, listen, God desires a relationship with you. He wants you to seek Him, not just what He can do, but He wants you to seek a relationship with Him. And when I look at the people of Israel in this chapter and in this passage, I don't see them seeking God to work in their lives and God as their power source and God in His strength. I see them thinking, oh, well, if we just perform a little more, if we just have this, if we have this trinket, the Ark of the Covenant, then maybe God will come through because we have it. It will save us. God won't, it will. And I just am convicted because there are so many times that I often forget that I don't want just a trinket of God. I want the person of God to be active and real in my life. And when's the last time that I just stopped and I said, God, I don't want to just have a Bible and be like, okay, well, if I hold the Bible tight enough, then maybe God will answer my prayer. No, God, I want your word to lead me to you. God, I want the situations of my life to stir me to seek your presence and to seek your working in my life. God, I don't want to lean on a little trinket. I don't want to lean on self-reliance. I don't want to lean on superstitions, right? I think we can do that. Well, if I don't pray enough, then God won't hear me. We have these little superstitious things. Theirs was the Ark of the Covenant. Yours might be, well, I have to say this many prayers each day, or I must make sure I have to read three chapters, not just two. I mean, I would pray that today we would be encouraged and challenged by the lack of desire that the people of Israel had for a relationship with the Lord. And may we today choose, God, this day, help me to seek a relationship with you, not just a superstitious expectation of you. And today recognize God desires to work in you. He desires to be very real and evident in your life. He wants a relationship. Will you seek Him today? Have a great day. We'll pick up tomorrow in 1 Samuel chapter 5 and 1 Samuel chapters 5.